So my start, I'm going to go with the guy who's on fire right now, Derek Carr. Love this matchup against the Eagles. The Eagles aren't stopping anybody. This guy I'm really high on, Robertson Jr. He's going against Cincinnati. He's on fire.
DeAndre Swift versus the Colts. Colts is one of those teams that are struggling defensively. The two running backs they've gone up against has cooked them for over 150 yards. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Catching a Vibe. I'm your host, Drew. I'm joined by my co-host, Mike. Week 3 is here, guys. It's been an absolute bloodbath with injuries. So we're going to go over our starts and sits. Hopefully you guys checked out the waiver wire video to help fill your roster out. Mike, how do you feel going into this week?
Oh, this is definitely, to me, going to test how well everybody drafted.
No doubt.
And how well you've hit the waiver wire trying to fill in all these injuries, trying to get in your lineup to make sure you got the best lineup you can put out there. So it's definitely going to be an interesting week. We're only in week 3, so it's going to be rough. Yeah.
It's insane. But all right, we're going to start off with quarterbacks, and my quarterback start, I'm going Kyler Murray versus the Lions. Kyler is QB3 right now, and he definitely looks like the old Kyler Murray that we're used to seeing. He's making plays with his legs. He's getting rushing yards. He's getting Marvin Harrison involved. Everybody was kind of worried about Marvin Harrison. I think he silenced the haters.
Yeah, he definitely did.
And Cardinals' offense has been rolling. I mean, they almost beat the Bills week 1. Then last week, they curb stomped the Rams. They scored 41. They even sat like most of their starters like in the fourth quarter too. So I'm impressed by the Cardinals, and I like Kyler versus the Lions. You saw Baker. Baker played good against them too. That's why I have Kyler as a start this week.
I definitely like Kyler. I think he's got his mojo back. I love the way he's scrambling, looking downfield, throwing the ball around. I think he's back. I agree with that start. So my start, I'm going to go with the guy who's on fire right now. He's number 2 right now, Derek Carr. Love this matchup against the Eagles. The Eagles aren't stopping anybody. Their defense, they're pretty bad. They're 30th in total defense. They're giving up almost 400 yards a game, 28th in passing defense. I think that Derek Carr is going to have a great game. I think he's just going to throw the ball all around. Derek Carr's been averaging 20 points these last 2 games. So, and 200 yards with 2 touchdown passes. So he's definitely worth a start for me. He's got a great matchup going against the Eagles.
Yeah. That's a good one. All right, so my sit, I'm going Jaden Daniels versus the Bengals. Jaden's like the best the rookie quarterbacks, which isn't much to brag about.
No.
But he plays the Bengals. The Bengals defense played really well against the Chiefs. They limited Mahomes to 150 yards passing, the lowest in his career. When nobody has ever thought Mahomes would only get limited to 150 yards.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But Trey Hendrickson balled out against the Chiefs last week, and now he gets to go up against a rookie quarterback who is bound to make mistakes this week. So that's why I have.
I agree. I think the Bengals defense is a little underrated. They're towards the top in total defense out there. So I think that's a good sit for Jaden Daniels. So my sit is going to be Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is struggling. Jeez. His first 2 games. His first game, he had 11 points. Second game, he had 13 fantasy points. He only threw for 162 in the first game, 220 yards passing. He's going against the Bills. The Bills' defense is looking pretty good this year. They're slowing everybody down. I think he's going to struggle. He's still trying to figure out who he wants to throw the ball to. There's no clear one there. Brian Thomas Jr. looks okay, but you can't throw a bomb every time you're out there. So I think Trevor Lawrence is going to struggle. So I got to sit him.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right, running backs now. One of my starts is Tony Pollard versus the Packers. Pollard is very involved with this offense. You know, there was talks about him splitting carries with Spears, but he's definitely the RB1. He's getting about 20 touches per game. He's getting 16 carries, and he's catching 4 or 5 balls a game. And Green Bay's been struggling against the run. You know, Saquon had a hell of a week one.
Mm-hmm.
Then Jonathan Taylor had 100 yards rushing. And I like Pollard. He's looking more healthy this year.
Mm-hmm.
He's 1 year removed from the Achilles injury he got in the playoffs against the Niners. I think he's in there a good start.
I think he's a very good start. I agree. He's averaging 15-plus carries a game, 4 receptions a game. He's averaging 16.8 fantasy points a game. Plus, like you said, Spears is hurt. So he might be limited if he does play in this game. So it's going to be Tony Pollard's backfield.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that. So my starts is pretty much a must start now, but I'm going with Jordan Mason only because of his match. He's going against the Rams. The Rams defense is terrible. He's filled in great for CMC. He's looking really good. The Rams are last in total defense, giving up the most yards in total defense. They're 30th in rushing defense. They're averaging about 197 rush yards in this game. So I think Jordan Mason's going to have a pretty darn good game. So I got to start him, but I got another good start for you. So don't worry.
Is that right? Love to hear it. But all right, my second start, DeAndre Swift versus the Colts. Colts is one of those teams that are struggling defensively and against the run. They allowed Joe Mixon 159 yards rushing. Then they got upset by Malik Willis and the Packers, and Josh Jacobs got 151 yards. So the 2 running backs they've gone up against has cooked them for over 150 yards. A little nervous about the Bears offense, but I feel comfortable starting Swift this week with how bad the Colts defense has looked.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is a good matchup for DeAndre Swift. I think this is a game. We got to see it. I think he might break out a little bit. So I think the run game is definitely where they're going to go. Mm-hmm. I agree. So my second start, this guy I'm really high on, Brian Robertson Jr. He's going against Cincinnati. He's on fire. I mean, his first week, he had 17 carries for 130 yards. And then last week, he had 12 carries for 40 yards. And 1 touchdown, 3 receptions, 40 yards. Love all that stuff. I think he's definitely the cowbell on this team. I think he's just going to keep continuing on that. They brought in Austin Eckler. He's looking like he's just the guy that's going to come in and spell him a little bit, catch a few passes. But I think they want to rely on Brian Robertson Jr. I think he looks very strong, and I think he's going to have a good game this week.
Mm-hmm. Good pick there. All right, my sit. I'm going Devin Singletary versus the Browns. The Giants are just bad, and Cleveland has a good defense, and they're pretty good against the run. They're allowing about 45 yards rushing per game. You know, Zeke didn't have the best game in ETN. He didn't have a very good game either, and I don't trust any Giants offensive player with Daniel Jones to lead him.
I agree. He's going against Cleveland, right? Yeah. So
in Cleveland,
and their front line is pretty good. I think they're going to shut down the run game. So I agree with sitting him. So my first sit is going to be everybody's darling. Everybody raced out to grab this guy off the waiver wires, J.K. Dobbins. All right, this is the team he's going against, Pittsburgh Steelers. I think his luck's going to run out. Pittsburgh Steelers are ranked 5th in total defense, only allowing 260 yards a game. 4th in rush defense. They're only giving up 76 rush yards a game. So I really think that the Steelers are going to get after J.K. Dobbins. They're going to shut down the run and see if Herbert can get the ball out of his hand throwing. So I think they're going to struggle.
Yeah. All right, my second sit. I'm going James Conner versus the Lions, a guy you love and is a very good player, but he's got a tough matchup this week. The Lions are ranked 1st against running backs. They've held Kyren Williams to only 50 yards rushing. Rashad White only had 18 yards rushing. So it's a very tough matchup for Conner. I just think the key for the Cardinals is to be throwing the ball. You've seen Baker have a good game against the Lions. I think Kyler's going to have a big game too. So James Conner, I'm sitting this week.
Yeah, he's in for a tough matchup. He's going against Detroit. Detroit's 4th and allowing rush defense. They're another team only allowing 70s. They're tied with Pittsburgh, allowing only 76 rush yards. So I agree. I would sit him too. I'm going to go with my sit. My sit's going to be Aaron Jones. He's going against the Texans. The Texans are a great defense.
Yeah.
This is a tough matchup for Aaron Jones. He's a little banged up. The Texans are third in total defense, only allowing 254 yards a game and seventh against the rush. So I think that Aaron Jones is going to struggle in this game, and they're going to try to put the ball in Sam Darnold's hand to see if he can throw it down the field. I think I got to sit Aaron Jones.
Yeah. It's a good pick there. All right. For the receivers, I'm starting Jameson Williams versus the Cardinals. J-Mo has looked like a whole new player this year. He's been playing great. He's receiver 7 right now. He's been getting fed the ball. He had 9 targets in week 1, 11 in week 2, and Amara is banged up a little bit. He says he's good, but I just like J-Mo's place in this offense right now.
I agree. Jameson Williams they're just gonna say run 9s and go down the field and stretch it. Yeah. I mean, he's definitely looking good. So I agree with that. I'm gonna go with Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow.
Oh, come on, guys.
These guys are gonna just explode against Washington. They're giving up a ton of yards. I really agree. I think Jamar Chase is in store for having a great game. He's got his mojo back. I think Burrow and Chase are going to blow it up this week. Yeah. So I'm going to go with him. Washington's defense is 22nd against the pass. So they're giving up 227 yards. This is my safe play of the week. I'm going to go with Jamar Chase. I think he's going to have a big week. But I got another start, so don't worry.
All right, super safe. Pick a guy who
he hasn't been super safe. So that's the thing. This is where I think he's going to get back to the Jamar Chase that you drafted early in the first round that everybody expects. I think he's going to get fed. I think Burrow is ready to explode, and he's going to be the recipient of the Burrow exploding. So.
Okay. All right. My second start, this is a flex play that I really like. I like Jaan Jennings versus the Rams. Debo's out, and Jaan is a very reliable option in this 49ers offense. In the postseason, he scored 11 points and 19 in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he blew up in the Super Bowl.
He could have been the MVP if they won the game.
Yeah, you're right. He's a sneaky player. You're right.
Yeah, so I like Jaan Jennings as a flex play this week with Debo being out and the Rams looking like a dumpster fire right now with all those injuries. Jaan Jennings.
I would go. Yeah, that's a good pick. I like him
Court's
too.
best pick.
Right. I'm going to go with Chris Alve as my start going against the Eagles. He hasn't got started. Saints are off to a hot start. I think this is a big game in store for Chris Alve. He's going against the Eagles defense. They're not very good. They're 30th defense, total defense. They're 28th against the pass. They're giving up 242 pass yards a game. This game should be a high-scoring game. It's one of the highest in the for the week. I think they're just going to get him started. Chris Alve has high. He's what he run like a 4.3 at the combine. He's super fast. He's going to get all those deep throws down the field. Last week they didn't throw very much. They must have only thrown like 20 passes because they jumped out on him so fast. I think he had a 43 target share in that game. They're looking his way, and they're going to get him the ball. They're going to find him the ball. I think with Alvin Kamara in there, the way he's looking, the defenses are going to get sucked up, and I think they're going to go deep over top with and hit Alave down there. I think he's going to have a big game.
Yeah, Alave's due, no doubt about that. All right, my sit. I got Jalen Waddle versus the Seahawks. It's because Skylar Thompson is starting at quarterback for Miami this week, and I hate this matchup too for Waddle because he's going up against 2 stud corners and Woolen and Witherspoon from Seattle. And when Skylar came in Thursday against the Bills, he was just dumping the ball off to A-Chain and the other running back. So I'm don't like Waddle or Tyreek this week, which is crazy to say.
Yeah, they're going to have some growing pains till they figure out what's best suited for Skylar Thompson to run this offense. I'm scared a little bit of starting those guys out. I think you got a March Hill out there because you drafted him so high, but I think Waddle's going to be slowed down until they figure out what's the best play for Skylar Thompson. I agree with sitting him. I had him as one of my sits, but I'm going to go with some other guy. This guy, everybody's probably going to go, what are you thinking? Why? He's the spiciest pick for me. I'm going to sit Malik Neighbors, right? This is a risky pick. He's going against Cleveland. This ain't Washington. If the Giants played Washington 17 times a year, they'd make the playoffs. Washington's defense ain't slowing anybody down. So the Browns' defense is pretty good. Up front, Myles Garrett's going to be chasing after Daniel Jones. I'm more scared about Daniel Jones than I am Malik Neighbors. I think he's a super talented receiver. I'm just scared that Daniel Jones ain't going to get him the ball. Right. He's not getting 18 targets like he got last weekend. The Browns' defense is 13th against the pass. Plus, they got a really good cover guy, Denzel Ward over there. He's going to lock him down, I think. I think Malik Neighbors is in for a long day, and I want to sit him. I'm just scared of Daniel Jones more so than I am Malik Neighbors.
Yeah.
They're going against a good defense with the Browns, so I got to sit them.
Browns secondary is good.
They're good at the back end, too.
Emerson and Greg Newsome in the slot.
The safeties are good.
Yeah.
I just think that, if you want to shut down the Giants, he's the guy. Yeah. And make Daniel Jones beat you somewhere else, which he's probably going to make a bunch of mistakes.
Yeah, yeah. All right, my second sit, I'm going Tank Dell versus the Vikings. He's looking like the third option in Houston right now. Week 1, he had 3 catches for 40 yards. And last week, he had 1 catch for -3 yards and 3 rushes for 16 yards. So it just looks like he's going to be very inconsistent this year with Diggs and Nico. There's just one ball they can use. Yeah. And they got a bunch of mouths to feed in the offense. And the Vikings defense is playing really well so far. So I think they'll not comfortable.
Yeah, right now he's looking like the third option. I mean, the first 2 guys are really good. Stephon Diggs. I think that he's going to have a big game in that one because he's going against his old team, the Vikings. So I think Tank Dell right now is going to play the third fiddle on this receiving core. I agree. So my sit, Michael Pittman. He's going against the Bears. The Bears defense is pretty good. They're 8th total defense, 11th passing defense. I think they're going to shut him down. AR is kind of struggling right now. He's throwing more picks than he is making completed passes. So I got to go with sitting Michael Pittman. If you look at his first week, he had 7 fantasy points. Second week, last week, he had 5 fantasy points. So his target share's there. He's getting targeted. First week he had 8 targets. Second week he had 7. So he's getting looks, but AR just ain't able to get it to him. He's too busy running, or I'm not sure what's going on, but he's going through his rookie QB growing pains.
Yeah,
so
no doubt.
I agree. I want to sit Michael Pittman.
Yeah, it's a good one. All right, tight ends. My tight end start is Brock Bowers versus the Panthers. Brock has looked phenomenal. He's tight end 2. He's averaging 8 targets a game and 78 yards a game, and now he's going against the Panthers and that defense. I mean, what are the Panthers doing right now? Are they just packing it in right now for the first overall pick? It's looking real bad, and I like Brock Bowers. Him and Devontae Adams are like the only 2 that I like fantasy.
Yeah, you stole my guy. I'm going to go with someone else, but I totally agree. I think Brock Bowers is awesome. I think there's 1A and 1B. It's Devontae Adams and Brock Bowers on the Raiders, and I think he's going to continue. I would not take him out of your lineup. He's the guy I'm going to leave in my lineup all year. He's that good. I mean, he's running routes all over the place, getting open. Brock Bowers is a great tight end. He's definitely a great start.
Yeah.
So my start is this guy that everybody keeps drafting and hoping he's going to be amazing. I'm going with Kyle Pitts. This is the week I got to see this guy show up. He's going against Kansas City. Kansas City is the dead last against points for tight ends. So he's going to be open. He's got to be open. He's starting to get a little rapport with Kirk Cousins. I'm hoping that this is the week he's going to break out. If not,
when is it ever going to happen?
Yeah, if not, when's it going to happen? And I think he'd be on the waivers the next week if he doesn't have a very good week. So I got to go with Kyle Pitts. Hopefully that gets him jump started.
Yeah. All right. So my sit this week is Dalton Kincaid versus the Jags. He's been real disappointing. I mean, 2 points in week 1, 7 in week 2, and now he's playing against their 4th-ranked defense against tight ends. So that's why he's a sit this week. And tight ends that have played against the Jags, Jonnu Smith had 1 catch, and Atkins started because Njoku missed last week, and he also had 1 catch. So it's not looking good for tight ends against the Jags so far. So Kincaid, you will be on my bench this week.
I agree. He's my sit. Maybe if I pick him this week, maybe he'll actually show up and play.
Yeah.
But I'm really having a hard time of starting him. I got to sit him also. He's going against the Jags. The Jags are 4th against tight ends. Mm-hmm. So they're shutting everybody down. You got to look at the first week. Dalton Kincaid only got 2 targets. Second week, he only got 4 targets. Until I see that they're going to start feeding him more than that, I got to sit him. Yeah. I'm really struggling with him because I know a lot of people out there drafted him, middle rounds, expecting him to be this amazing tight end. But right now, they're not finding him. Mm-hmm. Buffalo is looking the other way. Yeah. Josh Allen is they're doing it. He's doing it with his legs, or he's throwing to everybody else but Dalton. So I got to sit him as well.
Yeah. Another one is Kelsey. Is it time to be nervous about Kelsey?
Well, I think he might get a little bump because of the running back position now is in limbo. No one knows who's going to take over there. I mean, is it Steele? Is it P. Ryan? Is it Hunt? Who knows who's going to be out there? So I think this might help out Kelsey, and he might get back to not where top Kelsey, but at least a good playable
someone who's getting more than 3 points a game.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's going to start to get back to normal Kelsey, I also have another good running back to start. I'm going to go with Zach Charbonnet. If Ken Walker's out, he's going against Miami. Miami's defense is not very great, and Charbonnet is a quality running back. I got to get him in there. He's averaged 12 fantasy points the first week, and that was a limited play because Ken Walker was in there. Last week, he got the start. He had 18 fantasy points. So I really like it. I like Charbonnet. I think I would try to get him in. Keep an eye out for Ken Walker. If Ken Walker plays, you're definitely starting him. Yeah. Dolphins defense is in the middle of the pack. They're ranked 15th against the rush. So I like Charbonnet. He's good at he's making a lot of receptions out there. So I definitely want to start him if I can.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, guys, that wraps up the week 3 starts and sits. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. If you're new here, subscribe, hit that button. Appreciate it. We'll see you next time. Peace.